mailman's not doing anything. You're gonna have to fire your mailman. He's not delivering your mail. So how much are these places? Expensive?
No. I bought my property pretty much for like 75,000. I believe that's what it was listed for in the ad. You know. Are you looking to get a place here in Los Santos?
Yeah, I'm looking to find a place.
All right.
Place do you recommend?
So don't forget too, you can always flex those certain muscles in your body. If you flex it, that shift in H muscle, sometimes it can change how loud you might be. You know, if you need a shout or if you need a whisper. You're gonna feel like you're looking at gray candy bars at the bottom of your eyes, and you're gonna see that it changes. You know.
Okay, I see it.
Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah. All right. So let's go ahead inside real quick. I'm gonna go ahead and invite you to have you check out the place. I still just moved in not too long ago, so bear with me. Hold on. This is weird. All right, let me try something. Okay, for some reason I'm not able to actually it's like once I go in I forget how the door closes behind me. I for some reason don't remember how to reopen it for, you know, when I have guests.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I gotta work up on that. Maybe it's something that the real estate hasn't done for us yet. I don't know. I'll have to look into it.
Okay, that's fine.
All right. Oh, really?
Yeah, it says break in or knock on door.
Oh, let me check something real quick because I haven't finished it, so maybe huh.
Maybe you don't have enough furniture?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a doorbell or something. I'm trying to figure out. It's like I heard you knocking, but I don't know. That's interesting.
That would be bad breaking the cop's door.
Oh yeah. I don't know if you want to get caught breaking into a cop's house.
511 dispatch can be in
Yeah, I don't think I want to get caught.
Heading east on Vespucci Boulevard, passing MRPD. Crossing over the bridge by MRPD.
Channel switched. Sound muted. See you soon.
Yeah, well, we can always go see what's going on at that Tequila Ranch. Seems like there's a lot of stuff going on. First, let's talk about your career choice options here. What do you got going on for yourself here in the city? Anything good?
Right now, I'm doing the fuel trucker.
Ah, how's that job going for you?
I haven't really done too much work. I did, I think, one load, and I haven't done it since. So
Ah, I see. I see. Yeah, I was doing lumberjack for a while in that job, and pay was pretty good. Just required a lot of traveling, you know.
yeah, that's what I noticed with the fuel trucker too. It's a lot of travel.
Hmm. All right. How you looking on cash? I know you you're a cousin of mine and everything. You know, if you need any help, you know I got you. How about we go pimp out your ride here? Let's go get this beauty up in the works.
Okay, sounds good.
Have you thought about doing anything to it?
Yeah, I have. I tried before, and it wouldn't let me do anything. So
Oh, okay.
hopefully they have some stuff now to fix it. Because I did what I could, but they didn't have any mods yet. So
Yeah. Well, there's a store right around the corner from here. Let's go to that gas station. We'll go ahead and try to pimp out this ride. All right. You need to get gas, kind of do that, and I'll be right back.
I keep pushing the wrong button to get out. Did they ever fix the T and stuff,
Uh,
or is it still broken?
it's gonna be I'm not really 100% sure. Just make sure when we use our radio comm, just make sure you grab your shoulder so that way you know you don't want to flex your K muscle when we do that. Make sure you get that ICs, good stuff.
Yeah, I need to get some more.
We're gonna be outside in the car. How's she looking on gas? You good?
Yep, I filled her.
All right, let me go ahead and give this to you really quick. I should be able to help you out there.
Thank you very much.
Oh, did you take it from my hand?
Yes, I did.
Sounds good. All right, let's go. Let's go pimp her out.
Ahoy, me hearties!
Bear with me just a moment. I still gotta get it up and running. Hold on. Alright, this should work. I gotta get this, no problem, Erda. I know you're tired, bro. Yeah. Alright, this should work. Oh, there we go. View myself here. There we go. Okay, yeah, I believe the body shop should be right over here to the left. Right down the ramp. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and head on down, guys. See what else we got going on here. Alright, first of all, let me make sure I get this going in so I can kind of see. Of course, it doesn't want to work. Never does. Why does it do this every single time? Oh, did I do it with a capital G? Ah, that's interesting. I shouldn't really... Huh. Alright, so this is going to be... And then let me put a timer. All right, so we got the raffle things up now, guys. Yeah. You can always do like check your points, and it should show. I don't know if points will show it. Yeah, I think you have to do retro coins to see exactly. Yeah, so in here it shows in the brackets that you have 10,000 in there. Yeah, okay, cool. Wow, you got 10,000. Holy crap. It's okay. I know, you're okay, Eridar. Don't worry, bro. Alright, so we got that all closed up for now, guys, which is great. Let me go ahead and post this. Yeah, no, I know it's late for you, bro. Where is the, Let me do this again. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? All right, here we go. Now we got this. Can't even spell right. What's up, Thomas? Right? The only thing is, oh, Eridar, if you're, I know you said you're tired. I don't want you to waste your retro coins. If you want to save them, you can save them. What's up? What's up, Thomas? What's going on, bro? What's up? Hold on, I'll get the webcam on in a second, guys. Bear with me here. That should be good. All right, let me get this open. Ooh.
I think I got it all.
How's it looking? Does she look a lot better?
Oh yeah, a lot better.
All right. Not much, bro. That's good, bro. That sounds really good, bro. Are you serious? Hold on. Oh. Actually, I'm kind of in my head doing a couple things. Just the, give me a sec. Yeah, go ahead and drive for now.
That's fine.
Yeah, I feel like I'm dreaming about this, like this gift card in my head. I don't know. Hold on, guys. All right, let's take a look here. Oh yeah.
Like my horn?
Yeah, it sounds good. So what all have you done to the vehicle?
I added a spoiler, a front scoop, changed the hood, got some turbo.
All right. Next we got to get you a nice place to rent. If you really want to save some good money, it's a pretty good spot. I think rent's only about like $150 a month, I think, or a week. I'm not really sure. It's real cheap. It's a good way to it's a good place to, you know, rent until you can afford a place.
And where would that be at?
Let me mark that for you. Actually, you could probably make a right here. Then make a right at the next corner. There. And then you're going to want to continue east. Go ahead and hop in the left lane. And then right after this light, you're going to see an entrance to our left side. Just watch these locals, yeah. Alright. And then right here, you're going to see a little motel. Right there to the left, right here. They're still in the process of putting a driveway in there, so right now we just got to drive on the sidewalk. It was to your left. Oh, get out of here.
See him over there.
Oh. Yep, you don't want to be there right now. Alright, yeah, let's hang out over here. It looks like there might have been some criminal activity going on there. I don't think we want to get involved with that.
Yeah, that's a little scary.
Alright, so let's hop out here and find yourself a place. Pick yourself a room. We'll talk to the landlord and we'll get you a room with keys.
$30,000 to buy it? Wow.
Yeah, it's not that bad if you want to buy it, but you could just rent it, to be honest. Right? Somebody can't drive? That's what I'm saying, Thomas. I forgot which apartment was mine. I think it was this one. Yeah. Well, enter. Yay. Think here. Exit property. No, Jay's not a cop, no. There's Jay's car, guys. What do you guys think? What's going on? Yeah. Oh, man. Things are looking a little crazy. Let's see which one he chooses. All right. Is this your apartment? Oh. How do I... there we go. Are you, is that you?
Yeah, it's me, yep.
All right, sounds good. There we go. Look at that. So at least now We
Not
could
bad
we could
little
talk things over a little bit. The problem is, I feel like there's definitely something wrong with this chair. Man, let me rest up for a sec. Oh gosh, you hear that?
This may not be a safe place to be, huh?
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, Pig Cage is a pretty hot area. Give me a second. I'm gonna be in my head for just a moment, okay?
Okay, that's fine.
Don't forget there's this contest going on too. I don't know if you checked it out. You might want to definitely check that out as well before we head out. Hold on, why is it not working? Let's take a look here. So RC yeah, you guys have to make sure you have enough retro coins. Remember, each ticket's 100 and 100 is the max. Aerodar literally spent 10,000 retro coins right now for the raffle. Problem is you have to be present to win, so I don't think Aerodar remembers that. So I might actually just refund his points real quick because I don't think he knows that. I know he's probably sleeping. Well, let me see if Aerodar's here. Hold on, give me a second, guys. Let me see if he's actually here. I don't think he's in chat. No, he's not. I'm gonna be nice and probably just remove it for him. Yeah, because I don't think he remembers about that part. Let's get this opened up real quick. Tickets 50? I don't think that worked either, Jay. Yeah, just make sure you guys have enough of the raffle tickets. Hold on, guys. We're gonna switch camera views here because we're the webcam on. We're gonna remove this real fast. Could just go without the hat, to be honest, but
You're fired!
you got 6,800. There he goes. What's up, Solid? What's up, man? How are you, bro? All right. So let's figure out what we're gonna want to do here, guys. Like, can't I buy 50? I still have SC left. So 50 times 100. You know. You should, technically, because that's half. Well, how many retro coins do you have? You had 6,000? Yeah, you should. A good time is. Yeah, try it again, guys. Try it again. Let's find out what's going on here. Let's try to solve this out together. Together, we shall figure this out. So far just Aerodar. I don't know what's going on. Hold on, try it again, guys. What are you doing? Tickets. Oh, take out the S. No S. That's why. Yeah, no S, guys. Just ticket. Oh, you're on Modern Warfare? That's good, Solid. Dude, I haven't been on there since the update. I will have to check it out probably next week. I had a nice little team that's been on it lately, which is pretty good. Some of them I think are even on now, but no, some of them actually got off. Yeah. No, oh well, it's okay. I'll probably do it throughout the weekdays. Weekends are hard for me. Typically, I'm live now because I want to get this raffle over with, guys. So if you're here, you don't have to be a sub. This is for anybody. Get your tickets in, guys. Get your tickets in. Let's do it. Let's do it. All right. Let's see what we got here.
Alright. What was that?
I have no idea.
That was loud, whatever it was.
Huh? Somebody in here with us?
It sure sounded like it.
Is this a spirit?
Is this place haunted?
Maybe we need to call the Ghostbusters.
I'd have to.
1 to 69, but you're short. Ouch. It's okay, Jay. Hey, you locked your car, right?
No.
Oh, let's go check. Luckily, Jay's car is still there, guys. Jay's like always look like he's falling through the floor. All right, let's get going, guys. Oh. Well, thank goodness it's still here, man. And I can't believe you.
Yeah, I can't wait.
You know we're in a bad neighborhood. You know that.
I just totally forgot about locking my car.
All right, guys. So right now we got Eridar. Again, I'm probably going to go ahead and take the raffle tickets out because if not, he's going to be losing 10,000 points. He's going to get really upset about that. But I got to make sure everybody's following the directions, guys. At the bottom of that giveaway thing, it's going to show you the requirements. You must be present to win. I don't have a timer up there, but TrickSpot will let you know every so often how long the raffle is going to be. All right, so J13, yeah, you know what? I'm going to wait. When it gets close to the end, I could actually do a, give me a second.
Like somebody destroyed a bunch of stuff out here.
Give me a second. Let me go ahead and snap this up on here for you guys. Yeah, it looks pretty bad. Yeah, wow, yeah, it's crazy. Somebody was upset.
So where would you like to go now?
You know what? Nobody's on. Feels weird not being on patrol. Okay. Yeah, it's really nice. So I know you're still familiarizing yourself here with the city. So like, what all have you done so far?
Little odds and jobs here and there, but not really much.
How's your vehicle though? Did you scrape it by any chance?
I don't think so.
Okay, I was gonna say if we have to go to the mechanic shop, we can. They're usually around pretty good. Oh, I heard gunshots. We might want to get out of here.
I think we better get out of this area.
Yeah, this is kind of like the projects around here. Let me get the timer up here for you guys. Bear with me. All right, so
It's a little scary place in this area.
where's the giveaway? What's the okay? So right now we have 02 16. Well, wait a sec. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get that, let's get this on there. Where the heck is it? Oh, it's right here, duh. Put that up there for you guys so you guys can see it up there a little better. So we're gonna put the timer for that for you guys, okay? Because I don't have enough coins. Yeah, well, you put whatever you have enough for, our timer. So do your points, retro coins check, see what you got, see how many raffle tickets you want to get with it, bro. Bum bada bum bada bum bum bum. Bum bada bum bada bum bum bum. Ba-da-bum, ba-da-bum, bum, bum. Ba-da-bum, ba-da-bum, bum, bum. Well, let's see here. Let me see if I can get you somewhere really interesting to look at here. Let's check out the
And these locals are crazy drivers.
Yes, that they are. They definitely are. Let's see. How do we want to go about with this, guys? All right, so let's see. We went to the body shop today. Got you hooked up on the ride. We got to get you a job. Have you checked the government website yet and applied for anything or no?
I started to apply for the job and I never did actually, so I'm not sure what happened.
Gotcha.
Probably redo it again.
Yeah, I would definitely do that, man. Get yourself you know, get yourself a career going. Really, now your name shows up? Yep, now you got 50. You guys are looking good, guys. You guys are looking good. Yeah, no, you gotta watch these locals in town, man. They're outrageous.
Yeah, they are.
All right, what about a weapons license? Have you obtained your weapons permit yet?
And I was wondering what I had to do for that.
Yeah, so let's go shit up ahead. There should be a gun shop shit up ahead from us, and then it should be on our left side. Let's park it there. Let's take a look in, and let's see what the price goes for. If I'm not mistaken, last I checked, I think it's about 5,000 for course training and all that good stuff. Oh, it's raining outside. Gosh, I forgot my umbrella.
Yeah, I left mine at the house.
No. Yeah, don't worry, man. I'm gonna try to get you into the force. You know, do you think you're capable of doing it?
I have never done it before, so it'd be something interesting to learn.
Yeah, I mean, how are you with taking orders? That's the main thing. A lot of people are just not really fit for it, you know?
I'd probably be okay with it, but I like to rebuild sometimes, so
Yeah.
it might be a little issue.
Yeah, no problem. Don't worry. They provide training. The only thing they can't train is yourself. So if you don't have the self-confidence and, you know, the knowing how to maintain self-responsibility, that's something that only you can train. All right, let's go ahead and pull in here real quick. And it should be right here to our right. Let's hop inside. And let's make sure you get this baby locked up too, because you can't trust everybody. Go ahead and park it along the wall there. Right, yeah. Yeah, I got him playing GTA with us. We're talking. Oh, go, yo! Oh, do you see that? Looks like we might actually have a car show coming up here today. You interested?
Nice. Yeah, that's nice.
Let's see what kind of bad cars people are driving around town. Yeah, actually, this gentleman over there. See what they go for the weapons license. See how much they charge. Oh boy, any luck?
No, all I seen was armor and shotgun ammo and pistol ammo.
Huh, that's interesting. All right, let's check over here. What about this gentleman? Let's ask him real quick.
It says $5,000 for a weapons license.
Gotcha. I take it you ain't got the cash?
Not on me.
Okay. Do we need to go to the bank or?
Yeah, I think so. I have enough money in the bank, it's just not with me.
All right, let's go hit that bake up real quick because you're gonna need that, especially if you want to carry a sidearm. See what the prices are going for like just a standard pistol. Get yourself a 9mm or something. Slow choke slam trick spot. I'm not a cop. No, not right now. No, I'm off duty right now. Oh yeah. Anything you liked?
I don't see anything about any weapons.
Oh, it won't. Oh, you don't see nothing.
Yeah, it just lets me buy the license. That's all I see.
Okay, so yeah, he's not gonna show you the brochure until you get certified. Let's go get you some money.
Okay.
Ooh wee. Oops, up. Oh, there you go. Locking it up. There you go. Good habit.
You can't trust people here.
I know. I do miss doing cop work though, guys. I ain't gonna lie. I feel weird now just as a civilian because I'm so used to being on duty. All right. Well, let's keep it rolling in, guys. Let's keep it rolling in. Bum, 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 bum. Man, where's the bank when you need it, right?
Yeah, it's quite far away. Looks like. What happened to this light?
That's a good question. Power must be out.
Must be. Just on this block.
There we go. All right, things are looking good. 2 minutes, guys, to get 2 minutes. No, 2 hours. Dos horas. 12 horas. Yeah, which bank are you going to? Oh, you're going a little too far. You know what? We can go to the gas station that's to the left. Go ahead and make a left or at this light. Yeah, you don't have to go to the like if you look at your GPS and your navigation, you don't have to look for a bank point of interest. You can just go to like one of the grocery stores, the 24/7s, and if they have an ATM, just go there.
Okay, thanks.
Not so much the actual gas station. There's a store just down the street from that. Look for a green basket. Look at those 100 retro coins. One of the VIPs got it. Okay, and who is that? Who is that? Yeah, I think what I'm gonna do is have you fill out an application, still get your at least have it submitted, you know, and then maybe I can try to get somebody to pull it out for you.
Okay, sounds good.
Bum, bum, bum. Let's see. So we got the Tequila Ranch, or the tequila shop that everybody be hanging out at. We got the car show going on. You know, if not, there's a lot of other things we can do. Have you saw the? Yeah, you're gonna want. Yeah, you know where it's at. Okay. Yeah, here is good if you need gas, but they don't. For some reason, they don't have they don't sell too many goods. Nothing that we would want. Right. What's up, G3DGX? All right, guys, we're gonna head up into this store real quick. Hopefully, we get something going on, guys. All right, so we got a couple on the giveaway. Hopefully, we can get more of you guys to join. I got the timer up there, so we got a long way to go. Gives everybody a chance. Just make sure you guys read the rules and requirements. You have to be present, guys. If you're not here, you're not gonna win it. All right, go ahead. You can make the left right here. Yeah. Around here, you definitely want to lock it up. That's where all the gangs be at. Get yourself something to drink and snack if you haven't already.
I think I'm good on snacks and everything. I just need the money.
Yeah. Oh. Okay, drink some of that good, refreshing iced tea. Boom, boom, boom. Amazing news, Queen. What's going on? What's the good news? Oh, whoa. Good news is always the best news, right? Yeah, we don't always want to deal with sad and depressing news all the time, guys. Gotta change my arms in this shirt. Look, it's all like, what the heck? All good?
All good?
All right. Did you get a little extra just to get yourself a little sidearm?
Yeah, I did.
All right. Sounds good. Okay, so I got an interview the other day. Oh, nice. Hey, get yourself some income. That's always a good thing. And you got it? Congratulations. It's time to make that money. That's the best day is payday. Whether it's once a week or every 2 weeks, best day is payday. That's the best part with the job. All right. Do you remember where it was?
I see one on the map here, but I don't see where it's at.
Yeah. There's one up north, but we'll go to the one down here. It's probably a little more quiet. Who wants pizza? Queen's Pizza. Pizza, pizza. Pizza sounds good. You guys gonna make tricks, huh? Hungry. All right, car show's in 15 minutes. Get here early to get good spots. Wait, where's the car show at though? 16661 for GPS. Where did he say it was? Did you remember seeing? Let me check actually, Life Invader.
I didn't see where it was for sure.
Yeah.
I seen the tweet, but I didn't see exactly where it was.
All right. Well, looks like we got some cars going on there. It might actually be at the where the new hires go for the temp services for the jobs. All right. I think I might know where it's gonna be at. I think it's gonna be near the bar. If not, I think it's gonna be near the your messages got deleted? Oh, the caps. Yeah, you gotta be careful with the caps. You put too many. Yeah, caps lock on. You were shouting. You were yelling. Uh, right? Yo, look, Bori's around. Shoot, we could have done Borderlands if I knew he was around. I thought he was like not around. Looks like it's running pretty good go, guys, which is great. Absolutely phenomenal. Yeah. Why did it cut out? What the heck? But I work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, and I'm off Monday and Fridays. Ooh, that's like a really huge gap. I hope you pass that gun training. But yeah, that's really good though. That's really good. Oh boy, what are we going to do, guys? What are we going to do? Stretch. Oh, things are looking great. Maze Bank Arena. All right, things are looking good. All right, did you see that advertisement? We got to go to the Maze Bank Arena. Right, very true though, guys.
got my gun now. Got my license. Yeah, I'll make sure I don't use it if I only if I have to. Okay, sounds good. Okay, I'll definitely remember that. Okay, sounds good. Yes. Flying object, that's weird. I just seen something fly up in the air. Yeah, that's you definitely need a break. That's usually what happens when you have a. Oops, sorry about that. I think I'm good. Nice looking cars here. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, I know. I can't believe it. That's some nice looking cars.
My mic was off. I'm sorry. What's going on, Daniel? How are you? Thank you so much for coming in. wonder if that interior is actually designed.
Father! Oh my god.
Oh, wow.
Oh, what happened?
I could explain. Anybody here?
Hi, sorry about that. Can I interest you in a taco, sir?
Yes. Can I get a chicken burrito with some sour cream inside?
Yeah, sure. What's your PayPal number?
It's a good question. Give me a moment.
I believe that's you.
Yes, that would definitely be me.
Yeah. On the house, man.
On the house. Wow, how?
Free tacos for the car show.
For the car show. You guys must be doing good in business then, huh?
Yeah, Tequila Law's doing pretty great. You can thank our newest bartender, Chrissy, over there. She's doing great work. Made this all possible.
Sounds good. Have to definitely check out the building you guys have establishing going on. I haven't got a chance to get to it yet. How long's the car show for? Do you know?
The car show is probably just gonna be, probably like 30 minutes to an hour. I need to, once in a minute, I have to go through and like write down cars, and then people are gonna get to choose who their favorite is, and then they'll win.
All right, sounds good. I don't wanna hold you up.
Yeah, no worries. Enjoy the food, man.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You too.
Okay, guys, let's see what's going on here. You didn't want to get yourself a bite to eat? Taco kit. Oh no, man. The one taco I ate. Oh, not this again.
All the things that we wished they never came true.
You gotta try one of these. Yeah, try this out. Do you like it? Let's see his reaction. You're gonna like this stuff. It's the best tacos in town.
Oh man, they are amazing. Am I high or something? My eyes are like messing with me.
Oh no, you're just seeing things. You'll be fine. Don't worry. Oh, thank you, sir. You feeling okay? What's wrong?
I'm feeling good.
That's good. That's good. Isn't the sky beautiful today?
Yeah, it is. If I can actually see it.
All the things that we wished they never came true.
Oh, I forgot about that with the tacos. Look at this little man. I ate a taco, and now my guy's seeing things. Got no shirt on. Like a pumpkin head. What the? Where'd he go? I'm seeing things. My guy is he's seeing things. Woo! Let me see what else will I see here in a sec.
Daddy, look.
Look, he's pointing at me. That's me. That's my guy, but he has a pumpkin face. And then like the music with it. Listen to the music. The music is it's there. Oh, look who's in the sky. Whee! What's in those tacos? Wow, what the? Yeah, it's good music, right? It's catchy. Like, doesn't it like pull you in? Even my son is dancing, guys. He can't resist. It's an irresistible song. Oh my gosh. Yo, that's crazy. Oh man. Did you need more tacos or are you okay?
I think I'm good.
Oh my gosh. We know Discord pretty well. What question do you have, Loving Word? We might be able to help you, just depending on what it is. Oh my gosh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, hold on. Somebody's coming over here to talk to me.
I'm just trying to wonder what is in those tacos? They put some poison, Shimoko?
They put something.
Something for you.
Oh, God. Oh. What happened? Am I okay? Oh, hey, what's going on, guys?
There you go.
Good people.
Hey. Here for the car show?
Oh yeah, bro. What are y'all into?
Yeah, we're just here to check it out. See what the lovely rides everybody's driving into town.
Hell yeah.
At least it's not raining.
You know anyone looking for that white?
That I wouldn't know, but I'm pretty sure there's plenty of folks around here that definitely is. Oh my god, I could have been another undercover cop.
Do you see that?
See what?
Right in front of us?
No. That's you, bro. You feeling okay?
I'm having a little bit of issues here. I'm not sure what's going on here.
You okay? They said it's mod perks. Hey, sorry to bug you. I have a quick question. Can mods listen in on general voice chat without being there?
Statue or something with it.
No. No, they can't. Thank you for the follow, by the way. The graphics are wild, yes. Yeah, I don't understand what you mean, Loving Word. Like, what are you trying to say? Like, can you be in voice chat and mods listen on you? No, they can't. They can appear invisible if they like, but I believe they will still show up there in the chat. Channels can be invisible. Oh wait, what? You feeling better? So how'd you like the taco?
Oh, the taco is amazing.
Yeah, figured you like it. It's my favorite. It's always on the menu.
And yeah, my eyes returned to normal. I don't see what I was seeing. It was weird.
Yeah, but you gotta admit, you loved it, right?
Oh, it was trippy.
Unexpected. I bet you didn't expect the taco to really blow your mind like that.
No, I didn't. That was a wild taco.
Yeah, I figured you like it. That's why I figured let's get a bite. I didn't want you to miss out that opportunity.
The best taco I've had in a long time.
They said they heard my conversation while in the general voice chat with someone from the server. Oh. Are you over on Wandering? Is that what you're saying? Yeah, just make sure though, like if you're in character, you're in the IC channel. If you're out of character, but don't mix it with like in character, you know, all that good stuff. I'm pretty sure you know about that though. So a giant Mario figure standing in front of me. Yeah, I remember my first taco. Oh, I'll never forget the day.
Oh, I can imagine. Those things are pretty good. They're wild.
Yeah, whenever you're feeling down, take one of those and you start to feel this amazing beat pattern going on and you can't help but dance. All right, let's go check out these cars. Let's get a little closer. Let's see what these cars are all about.
Yeah, let's go do that.
All right. All right, so we got a couple car shows here at the car show here, guys.
Cheap folk.
Which one do you want to look at first?
Don't matter to me, whichever. We could start at the end and work our way down.
Yeah, let's go. Wow, look at this one.
Yeah, let me get out. Let me go. Oh.
Cleaning right.
Oh. Honestly, no. I'm seeing shit right now and it's making me proper weird, you know.
Yeah.
My baby. Good cop. Jesus Christ, everyone was over here all of a sudden. Hello. This is beautiful. Well, welcome to car show. I sense approval, thank you.
Oh yeah, nice ride.
Thank you. This. Wait, do you want to see what my baby's named after, though?
Oh, I'm very curious. It's got to have a good background story to it.
Well, named after my son, my other baby.
Oh.
Oh.
I'm gonna just yoink away right now.
I would suggest that too because
I believe my child just teleported under the car. I'm never gonna move this car now.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna move further away. Don't worry, that was just the car bumping. I'll bring my son back over here.
Yeah, that was a little weird there.
That was, yeah. About that paint job, though.
Yeah, that paint job's nice.
Trick's trying to be slick, right? Yeah, there's yeah, it says something bad and I don't want to admit it, but to be honest, they said they heard my convo.
Weird. Hold on, let me take my glasses off. Just take a picture of me, right?
Do you think it's true or are they lying?
You look fucked up.
So I believe if they're signed in invisible, they might be able to join a channel without being spotted. Now, I don't think that's the case. I think they actually have to be there. I don't know. I'm not 100%, but if somebody has a better answer, please answer that. I know you can make channels invisible. I just don't know about accounts. I'm not saying there's not a way. I'm pretty sure there is. I know TeamSpeak you can. I don't know about Discord. Ah, look at this next one though. Look at that white one.
Oh, that white.
Ooh, look at this. Praise be. I think this is the Pasture's car. Look at that. Bet you haven't seen some of these cars in town.
Oh no, I haven't seen any of these cars.
Oh man, and look at that cop car down ahead too. That looks pretty nice. Hopefully they'll give us those bad boys.
Hey, where are all these tacos coming from?
Auto body shop. Look at this one. You know what this one reminds me of? Reminds me of this cartoon I used to watch as a kid called Speed Racer. Do you remember?
Oh yeah, I remember Speed Racer.
Looks just like it, just not white.
Yeah, it does. The blue Speed Racer.
Speed Racer, go Speed Racer. Am I seeing things still? What's this guy doing? Yeah, I'm seeing things. check the next one. Look at this lowrider.
There's many people, many bikers in this area. I did. Oh my god.
I did.
He's Gucci
We went up-
down under his
yeah.
vest. It's fucking awesome. Well.
Oh, glad thing I didn't stay in the middle of the...
Yikes.
Oh gosh, what the?
Is...
What's going on, man?
Alright.
He's going.
All right, just in case. I think we're okay.
Yeah.
I think it was just an evil standing citizen. Wow, look at this one. I hate to be in a pursuit with this bad boy.
Oh yeah, no bad guys to get away from that one.
Oh man. Oh look, we got a little nice little cool little Jeep coming up. All right guys, we got an hour and 30 minutes. That time's gonna go very fast.
The guy?
They did.
Alright.
Oh boy.
I'm sad about my car.
I know. I think it would have been in the final round.
God damn it, man.
You can't turn the GPS on?
Look at this one. Nice little was it P Fister? Is that what it said back there?
Yeah, that's what it looks like it says.
Yeah. All right, things are looking good. See, it's a good thing you came here. So you got to see some cool cars. You got to eat some wonderful tacos.
Oh yeah, I'm glad I came here. This is nice.
Look at this bike. Oh, by the way, you can cast your vote on the cars. I think you got to speak to the lady with the clipboard, I believe. I'm not sure. Or I don't know if you got to text a message or speak to the one that's in charge of handling the votes.
Okay, we'll have to find out how we have to do that.
Yeah. Let's look for somebody that looks like a staff. I did see a lady with a clipboard. I'm assuming she's in charge of maintaining the oh, right there, the one with the red checkered shirt. I would check with her. I'm gonna let you do that real quick. I'm gonna be in my head for just a moment.
Okay.
Okay. All right, hold on, guys. Bear with me here. Hold on. Thank you, by the way. Question marks for those. How you been?
I think she's already voted. Hello. Not much. Just checking out these cars. Yeah, he's my cousin. Yeah, he does cop when he's off duty right now.
Okay.
Yes.
So what's the good word, man? When we're gonna have these for our traffic enforcement units already? You know, what's taking so long?
When they get fixed.
We're not getting enough taxes yet? Is that what it is?
Just wait. You'll see.
Oh. Stand back. Look at this. He's gonna show us. Man, I want that cop car. Where's the girl with that dress? Look at Thomas.
Ask permission, and then it's broken. No, get out.
Oh gosh. Oh, I don't think we're ever gonna catch that thing now.
Get out. Yeah, see.
Wait, I'm just checking the name of it.
Yeah.
Oh, now I got your DNA all over it. Oh.
Emerald. Oh wait.
Vodka. That's.
Is it a vodka?
Oh, vodka sounds good. Yeah, I'll take some of that.
Oh.
Yeah, it's broken.
Just because of no sound?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, that.
Yeah, the mechanics are working on it. Don't know when it's gonna be fixed, but
probably just not high priority.
Might just be the aerodynamics. Maybe that's what makes it so quiet.
Oh. Maybe it's electric.
Yeah. Might be hybrid electric. Yeah, see, futuristic.
Electric and boom.
I love it.
And it's got those
coming to a road near you soon, Cat.
Oh my god. I mean, I'm just kind of glad I don't have anything on my record, because then I'd be intimidated. Then I would feel a little bit of fear. I'm good. I'm safe.
This looks like a car you'd find in like Dubai or some shit like that, you know.
46. Oh, I need to get a dirt bike. I need to get some sort of
Well,
other
police
bike.
needs a dirt bike. We have a dirt bike uniform, but
What do I have?
dirt bike.
I have a fucking. It begins with S. I can't remember what it's called. But
Sanchez.
No. I don't.
right.
Don't know.
You talking about like the low rider?
Yeah.
Scooter.
It's not a scooter. I don't have a scooter. No.
Sanctus.
It's.
We need 64 players again. I really hope they open it back up.
Electric or what is it?
It's low rider, like proper biker looking. I'm pretty sure it begins with S. If not, I'm wrong and feel like an idiot.
Does it have a skull on the front?
No. I don't know. It's got like a really long seat, but it can't seat two people because
A
it's
chopper?
Bullshit. No.
No, it's probably the
rolling
Avorus.
away. Sorry.
I know the name, but I can't remember it.
I have a bike too.
Ooh, I need to buy back one of my bikes that I lost. It's a
Pretty sexy.
I think I missed most of the show though.
Reggie!
It's
A little bit of it. There wasn't really much going on.
I want to try and think.
I was thinking having Life Invader bring over a party bus and then having like a little after party here.
Do it. Fuck yeah.
Hey Reggie, you want to trip balls with me?
Always.
Let's see if
Here.
let me see if I can get hold of
taste
Jay.
my taco.
See if we can get a Life Invader sponsored party truck.
Good luck with that. He's work. I need to talk to you about him over here for a sec.
Sky.
Octavia.
Yes, eat it.
Oh, so it's
Enjoy it. While you do that, when you trip balls, I'm gonna give you ice cream.
Right, Thomas. Oh my gosh.
I think so. Yeah. It's on the tip of my fucking tongue. It's not what?
I was gonna say something very
I'm fairly
crude,
sure it
but I stopped.
Oh, let me stretch again. Oh, yikes.
No, that is. Get it. I mean,
Ooh, look at this motorcycle. It's interesting. It's like a looks like a futuristic sports lowped or like lowrider. I mean, not moped. What am I talking about? I like it. Kind of gives me like that Terminator vibe.
Yeah, it does.
All right. Wow, nobody else wants the gift card. That's amazing. That's amazing. You know, people were complaining so many times that I don't do regular giveaways like with the regular users. Like, this is typically why I do just VIPs only or / subscribers only. So you guys get rewarded because you guys are contributing to the community and I like to contribute back. And if that's the case, I think we might just stick to that for a while, at least until things get better. Or we'll just make the giveaways like different. Maybe like one for one, one for the other. We'll see. We'll see. We'll mix it up maybe next time. We'll try to see what's going on. All right, not bad.
Yeah.
I think everybody's starting to clear out here soon. I forgot where you oh, you parked over there. Okay, now look at this car. Ooh.
Ooh, did that hurt?
No. In my eyes, it felt like it nearly ricocheted me. Interesting.
Whose car is this?
I have no idea.
It's a very nice car. I'm pretty sure there's only 2 in the city.
Right.
I really, really want one, but there's only 2, so
I would
talk to the owner.
I was gonna say, definitely check the owner or check up on Life Invader. Maybe you can find them on there. They had to post pictures recently.
Possibly.
You know, but it is nice. I'm scared to even ask what the price tag might be, but
Probably big, because it's what I heard was they have to import them. That's why there's only 2.
oh, okay, yeah. I'm actually looking to get it imported myself as well. I'll have to look into it.
Yeah, when they like import cars, they import like 10 of them at a time.
Gotcha.
A bunch of different cars.
Import. Speaking of import, I gotta check the import. Where the heck is it? Import shop. Oh yeah, I see them here, yeah. Actually, I do need to check and see if, let me check this real quick. It's raining tacos. Why am I singing that?
Let's see what's going on over there.
Yeah, no problem.
A nice looking car.
Yes, it is. I get a bro rank on Discord.
I like those spiked wheels. Those are cool.
Woody. Hey, how's it going, guys?
No, pretty good, pretty good.
You guys enjoying yourself?
Yeah, absolutely.
Not enough weed around here.
Just doing the rounds, checking on people. We're probably going to be wrapping up in about like 10 or 15 minutes, but feel free to hang out for as long as you like.
Yeah, it sounds good. Speaking of that, who won the contest actually? Did you guys post it yet?
We did. It was actually someone else posted it. It was the 190, the Karen 190Z.
Oh, you know, I'm looking at the wrong one. Yeah, why am I on Life Invader? See what's wrong with me? I do see it.
Yeah. That was community vote. We'll probably do another car show here soon. I think everyone had a really great time, and I loved getting everyone to vote for their car.
Yeah, I think it's good. I think it brings the city together.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'll leave you guys to it. I'm just doing the rounds, so enjoy yourself. Oh, God.
You too. Oh, gosh, what the?
Fucking, that's his, this is my husband's car. That's his brother. He's just a jerk.
Well, guys will be guys. Ooh, look at that car. It's got like little shark teeth on it. Look at that.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. I like that car.
I'm gonna have to, yeah, we're gonna have to look into the, some of the import shops. I think if you check on the, Discord app thingy, you'll see some interesting. Right. You know what time is. Shh. All right, let me think here, guys. Hold on. Bear with me here. What do we got going on? Things are looking pretty good.
It's up to you.
Oh.
I think, I don't think they would mind. I need to find someone to talk to about Studio Los Santos. Let's go back to Tequila Law.
We should totally go back to tequila.
Are you gonna get a party bus and are we raving?
Let me see if really, Thomas? Pizza? Wow, everybody's eating but me. What the heck?
I'm confused.
What am I watching here? Okay. Wow. Pizza sounds really good. I need to get my custom plates. Let me check something here. Hold on. Sorry about that. All right, let's see. Yeah, I think they're gonna wrap things up here soon.
Yeah, looks like it.
Let's see, Ash to Logan. Primer. Whoa, look behind you. Whoa.
What is that?
Wow. Oh, that's awesome. That's the party bus.
Yep.
I think we're gonna get on there.
How do you get on the?
Dude.
Down with that. What do you mean? Full, dude. So currently full. Currently full. It's
Yes. Hello.
Hey. Wow, you like this, Simons? Look at this.
Tired of it's first it was veganism, then came the Vice City diet of no carbs, fruit, rum, domesticants, and cocaine. Finally, there's that makes sense. Extreme paleo diet. Oh. Stood the test of time. When extreme take diet from our enlightened who shines beans and dairy, mammals, you'll be far happier too. Body will find fun with the world to perfect what and who do on the trademark.
Yes. Woo! Oh, the colors everywhere. Dude, this is a different trip than I had before. It's great. I'm just seeing all colored boxes.
Okay, okay.
I don't know who I'm next to, but hey.
I see you, Tricks. Right.
Where's the music at?
Yo, is this Reggie? Oh, there's Reggie.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Oh my god, that was the best trip ever. That's great.
Wow. All right, so here's what we're gonna do, guys.
Hey guys, let me tell you all something. Does anyone not hear literally fucking anything?
Yeah, we're just dancing to nothing.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't hear. I only like hear something really silent.
All the things that we wished they never came true.
We're gonna do it one more time, guys. One more time.
Still can't hear anything?
I can hear some of it, but it's not like loud. Like you can't really hear it. Keeps like cutting in and out on me. I don't know if it's just me or.
It could be a city issue.
Yeah. Anyone have like live music that they can play? I didn't.
There we go. All right. We're getting it down, guys. We got this. Woo!
All the things that we wished they never came true.
I still love them little things.
All the promises made were broken by you.
Ooh, that's second.
All the things that we wished they never came true.
How we do it?
Who didn't?
Ooh! Oh, thank you, thank you.
Wait, you know if you turn on their in the van, the city.
It's loud though.
Are we all gonna eat a taco at once? Hey, Reggie.
Yo, yo, yo.
That's good. Hey!
There we go. There we go.
I know, I'm telling you, ice cream and tacos, baby. We all gonna eat a taco together? Is this what's happening?
That's
Great.
a really good idea.
That sounds like a good idea to me, too. Tacos are awesome. Oh, hell. Yes! Woo!
Oh, really? I did? Oh man, that's not good.
Best tacos in town.
Yeah, I'm real high right now.
Yeah, just let it happen. Just let it happen.
I'm letting it happen.
Oh. What the fuck?
Best tacos in town, guys. Best tacos in town.
See, I can actually be a DJ if you guys want. I have a whole system.
Sounds good.
Hopefully I'm back on, right? No? I'm gonna let that go. Hold on, guys.
Reggie,
Oh no.
the sound waves hit. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, it's so good.
Holy shit.
Those, yes, those are the best. And then the squares.
I don't like when it's
Yes.
black though.
What is happening to me?
Oh, it's a good trip. I'm tripping good right now.
Oh, yeah, I love you all right now.
I love you all.
Where's Mario?
Oh man.
You're good.
I should have
who
stuck
get-
to brownies. I really should
Uh-oh.
have stuck to
Mario.
brownies.
How do you have a bad taco? Because the same stuff happens to me all the time. And you actually really have a bad taco?
Yeah, you can.
Oh my god. What the fuck is going
Wait, who
on?
put drugs in your taco?
I think someone put Xanax in my taco.
Oh, shit. Anyone alive?
Oh man.
You alive after that?
We are alive. What's up?
Should we get a head count? Oh, fuck.
Yeah, we're good.
Oh, damn.
I'm waiting for the bus to move. If it's move. Oh, brownies are good too.
There's pumpkin heads everywhere.
What the fuck? Why is there a pumpkin head?
Oh my god. Pumpkin heads everywhere.
Oh,
Wait,
they really?
isn't there a pumpkin head?
Is there a pumpkin of meat? Because I never find one.
No. There's one of me staring, pointing at me right now.
Never found a pumpkin.
Yeah,
What the
but
There's a
hell?
pumpkin of you.
Yeah, but you need to ask yourself: are they real?
Look, there's a
Oh
pumpkin
my god,
beside
this is
you.
great. It's Mario!
Don't think
Oh
they're real,
my
guys.
god, it's Mario!
What did you get into? I know. I'm sorry, Jay. I'm sorry, bro. Hey, it's different, right? You see how like everybody's together here and we're not dying? This is what's...
There's my twin. Let's go.
I'm gonna do it one more time. I don't got much tacos left. No.
Is there any mechanics around?
What's up?
Yeah, could you come take a look on my bike for me? I gotta figure out to stop
All the
dancing.
things that we wished they never came true.
Interesting about the shop, also call it the psychology of chakras because they are the doorway to see.
Oh, anyone know how to stop dancing? Hands are open.
We're gonna do glow sticks. Oh my gosh, I'm getting a weird one this time. What the heck is all this? Your character's still tripping. Yeah, this is bad, bro. I'm not supposed to do this. I'm having fun. Good job. Yo, we gotta get everybody in on a giveaway, guys. If we got friends and family right now who got some extra budget coins, tell them to get in. They can get a gift card.
My arms are aching.
Are you guys able to hear the music?
That's a negative.
Waiting. I've got a whole DJ system if you want.
What am I doing? Are we playing Star Wars right now? Came true. Never came true.
Ready?
Yeah, does anyone know how? Does anyone know how to stop dancing? My arms are aching.
Alright, hold on, guys. Hold on.
Don't drive.
I'm busting that.
Wait, I might need to discuss with the lady.
The Def Leppard. Ugh.
Yeah, I'll throw some shapes leopard.
You got it, move!
Oh shit, he's done.
Oh yeah!
Oh,
What the fuck? What the fuck?
Hey!
Slow down. You gotta move slow.
Oh boy.
yeah, I'm trying.
No, why are we on the road? Go back to the parking lot. Like, this is dangerous, guys.
Hey boys. Be in
Bring
here
us
too?
back.
Welcome.
You want to squeeze on it?
Please hop up. There you go.
Hey, make you lose. Hey, could you go back to the parking lot?
I'm scared to move in case I fall. It's hard to balance on a moving vehicle with one actual leg. Maybe.
By myself now. What the hell?
Oh, no, you... I can't do that.
Don't knock me off with a traffic light.
Oh, but...
I'm trying not to. I noticed that.
Oh.
my god!
Oh my god, I'm being
no,
pushed!
don't you leave
No,
people!
Help!
Kitty!
No, not me!
Leave Kitty!
I've survived so long, I won't fail now.
Oh, we're all back on the bus.
We lost
Woo-hoo.
DJ.
Dude, bring
Alright, hop back on.
bring it back.
Alright, hop back on.
Bring my bus back.
Yeah, hop
Bring
on
Chrissy's
the
bus back!
Hop on the bus.
We need to take it back.
That's what I'm saying. Hop on the bus and I'm going back.
Who's on? Is everyone on? That is not the way back. That's...
Doing a Yui.
Traffic light!
Oh no.
Fuck those tacos, bro. I ate a taco and someone stole my
Oh,
motorcycle. It was a trip trying to get it back.
Alright, we're leaving things behind. If you fall, you're staying back.
I'm talking steel cage around this bus.
Wait.
Oh shit. We just lost everybody. Kill it. Oh
What
shit!
Holy fuck!
Oh shit! The cops are on us now. We're fucked. Hey, Officer D.
Because this is the best time of your life.
Hell yeah. Changed? What do you mean?
Oh, you just wearing different clothes.
Oh, yeah. Normally, I got a mask on top of the.
Definitely. Maybe. We could go do that real quick. If I could actually get my car out. Yep. You want to drive? Yeah, you did.
Yo, can I get a ride with you guys?
Sure.
Pink Cage possibly, or wherever's convenient for you guys, really. That's it's alright if I light up my doobie in here.
Yeah, you go there.
All right,
Where would
brother.
you like to go?
Pink Cage Garage, please. Hey, this is lit. Even though I got in at the very end. Yeah, my vehicle got taken by aliens, and I was running back here, and I ran into the bus on the way. Hell yeah. That's alright. Ain't no big deal. Shittier part was I went inside some straight house and come out with no vehicle. Hell no. Yeah, I just dipped out of there pretty quick because I couldn't see shit. Oh shit. Don't worry, I got a taser, I'll tase him. No idea.
Looks like he was texting or something.
What are you guys into? Hell yeah. You guys good boys, and you like to, make some money. Well, I'm just kind of looking, for the laundromat, but you guys know anything about the laundromat? Oh shit. I mean, I wish I knew something about it too. I was just wondering. It's where I heard that you can take all your money that you get from the safes at the stores and wash it there. I mean, I just kind of Matt to keep it on the down low.
Oh, my mic's muted. I'm sorry, guys. Thank you, Thomas. Oh man, traffic is crazy today.
Yeah, I normally don't stop at stop signs. I go about $1.20 everywhere.
Yeah, I always count the letters in the alphabet. I just go S-T-O-P, go.
Hell yeah.
Oh man. Whew. Somebody must have not cared about that bike.
Might be one of them ghost riders.
Yeah, it might be. All right, we're gonna want to make a left here at this light, and it should be on the right side.
I was gonna back there at the garage is where I need to go, but it's all cool. I can walk.
Oh, okay, yeah. Either one.
I appreciate it. You guys got me this far.
You're gonna get us a ticket. Oh, wrong side of the road, there, buddy.
I got it.
Do I owe you anything for the trip? Oh, well, now I do for breaking your window.
No, oh wait, is the window broken back there?
In my eyes, did I accidentally flex my muscle and it smashed it? But okay. How much do I owe you guys?
Oh, you're good.
Are you sure, man? I appreciate the ride.
Yep.
Yeah. Don't meet too many nice folks in the city. It's good to be a good Samaritan sometimes, you know?
Yeah, it is. I appreciate it.
All right.
Well, take it easy, boys.
You too. Be safe.
Yep.
Yeah, we might want to go get that fixed. The mechanic shop, I think, is right around the corner.
Okay.
This lady must really want that cigarette. Let's make a left. Oh, God!
God, these drivers.
Heck yeah, make a left here. And then... You're on the right side. Where'd you get your driver's license? Alright, so we're right here to the right. Right here in the parking lot. It's gonna park you real quick. And hopefully one of them are here. I'm not sure. We might have to call them. Right. Let's see what's going on here. Go ahead and park it along that wall over there where the parking spaces are. Yeah, right over there. All right, so you might have to call the mechanics. You got their number on your phone?
I'm not sure. I don't think I do.
It might be on the yellow pages. Oh man! Oh, what do we got? We got 41 minutes. Yikes! All right, things are looking pretty good here, guys.
I am not seeing them.
Yeah, open up your phone book. It should be in the yellow pages, and then it should say mechanic. Just give those guys a text or give them a call. There might be one here, maybe. I don't know. Let's find out. Well, you might want to check parking spot.
Hello again.
How you doing?
Trying to get this car fixed.
Oh, no. Yeah, that guy must be an asshole, whoever busted out your back window.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Oh man. Uh-oh.
About to head up north and, yeah, make some of the crystal blue.
Yeah, I've been looking for those places, but I'm not sure what they're at, so...
I mean, does your buddy always wear them straps on his arms?
Pretty much, yeah.
Is,
Did I miss anything good?
Are you a cop or something?
Well, what gives you that impression?
Gun holsties, and you kind of being dressed up, looking like a detective.
Well, you know, we are allowed to have weapons permit in the city and carry legal sidearms here. Where would I holster my weapon?
Definitely a cop.
It's okay. I get it all the time.
Just messing with you.
I got a question.
Yeah.
So who needs their window repaired here?
He does,
yep.
and I do, but
This-
he's here first.
Yep.
Dirty laundry here. Wash it.
Darling.
Oh man.
I have a lot of dirty laundry, and I know where the mat is.
I see.
Oh man.
Pain in the ass.
That's the worst place to get pain.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Well, stop bending over.
Says the one that just stood up straight.
Oh man. Oh wow. Look at that. That's a beauty.
All right, that'll be 500.
Oh, let me stand back a bit. Oh, did you guys hear that?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
I felt that.
Yeah, I hope it's not another, like that game I was playing, Mars Attack. I hope it's not.
Oh, shit.
ID number is 97.
Yeah, I mean, even that local over there is going crazy. Something happened.
Maybe someone ran into a gas pump. Who knows?
Holy crap.
Okay, I'm hearing something.
Oh, I love that hairdo, man. What are you using there?
You know, just some beard oils.
Yeah, I mean, it's hold its position quite well.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Oh, by the way, speaking of that, you might want to talk to this fine mechanic about getting yourself a nice little body kit or fix kit in your trunk. It's always good to keep one handy.
Yeah, man.
He might even show you how to use one, so that way, you know, in case you need it when you're out and about in Blaine County or something.
Yeah, might have to actually give me one.
They're $1,500 a pop or $2,000 for a body kit.
I'll do just a repair kit.
Repair kit, okay. Just one?
Yeah, just one.
There we go. See?
How many more of them you got on me? Or on you?
What's your PayPal name?
Mine?
Yeah. So I can give you the fix kit.
Didn't you do like J13 at PayPal.com or something?
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Yeah, I think it's, yeah. Yeah, so PayPal ID is going to be your, like your, pretty much your government ID, like your nickname.
You get that?
Hey Reggie, how many more fix kits you got on you?
1,500. I got 6 more on me.
I'll take 3, homie.
Alright.
I hope you got some good trunk space back there.
What's your PayPal?
Yo, Bob, what's your PayPal?
Judge Drake, sir.
Alright.
And what's your PayPal?
$97.
Alright.
Well, I don't think my transmission is working.
That'll be 4,500.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yep. No problem. Take it easy.
Ooh, 34 minutes. Ooh, ooh. Ooh, ooh.
Oh, yeah.
So these vehicles come with the job?
What?
The mechanic agency hook you guys up with these cars?
No,
I'm not a mechanic.
No? Well, I've seen both of you guys driving the same, so I just kind of assumed, you know, we're at a mechanic shop.
Oh,
yeah, no, I bought that beast with my own money.
Oh.
This is my brother's truck, actually, so.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, Rachel's doesn't have a hot pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
She's always bumming stuff.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's, transmission is leaking something.
Oh, that's not good. That could be dangerous.
Yeah, a little bit, especially if it gets on the exhaust, but, you know, whatever.
If she runs, right?
Exactly. Well,
All right. Well, I'll let you guys get to work. Thanks for helping us out here. All right. Let me get my seatbelt on here for our safety. All right, we got that on. Let's go. Wait, what was I doing? There was something else I had to do. I can't remember.
Okay, now where do we want to go?
Did I just hear something?
Yeah, I think so.
Is it what I think it is?
I think somebody crashed in this.
Is your window okay?
Yeah, it's fine. Just my bumper got messed up.
Oh, okay. Yeah, our eyes see things differently. Okay, just wanted to check. Sorry about that. I had to check something real quick.
Okay, so where do you want to go down?
Let me take a look here. Hold on. Let's do this. Let's get you an application going.
Okay.
Yeah, these locals are crazy. Let's get out of here.
Yeah, it's crazy right here.
Yeah, if you want, let's go ahead and head back down south by that one garage where we got your vehicle. I'm gonna go ahead and pull mine out. I gotta get mine fixed too. My door is looking all crazy.
For me?
Oh yeah, I got you. Give me a sec. Sorry about that. You know, with my job, I had no choice but to learn the city quite well. So if you need help getting somewhere, let me know. Look at that, guys. 29 minutes. We need to get more people in this raffle, guys. I feel bad. Boo, 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 boo. I got that song stuck in my head. Holy moly! Ah, man. So how you liking the city so far?
Oh, I like it.
We're getting very close, Magic. We're almost there. Okay. Things are looking great, guys. Looking great. Absolutely fabulous. Nick is killing me. Let's see what else we got going on here. Here it is. Any problems keeping up?
Just a little bit. Kind of lagging a little bit here.
Oh, your eyes are feeling laggy? Yeah, I feel ya.
Yeah, my car's being a little weird too right now.
Oh, it's okay. Don't worry. I souped this baby up. Fully customized.
Yeah, it's pretty fast.
Oh, yeah. This is my first car when I came into the city. Can't get rid of her, man. She's an OG.
Yeah, I think I tried one of those cars the other day when I borrowed a car from somebody, and it was pretty fast.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. Definitely got to figure out what we're going to do about you making money for now. You said you're working at the fuel depot, right?
Yeah, I'm working at the field.
Okay, okay. Huh. We're going to have you check that out. How much do you make with that anyway? Do you have any idea?
It varies, but it's usually about, I think, 2,000, 2,500 something.
4 minutes. Hey. That's not bad. Wow.
I've only done like one load, and it's just not a lot of work to do the job, so I kind of don't like it really.
Yeah. 1 second. Hold on. Um... Shoot, nobody's helping this person. I gotta see if give me 1 second, okay?
Okay.
Hi there, are you able to hear me? Okay. If you can hear me, go ahead and you can do like a /me if you like. Or you could do /B and I'll give us a local OEC chat, either one. Okay, cool. Cool, you can hear me, great. Okay. So what happened here? You said random death? Okay. All right, give me 1 second. Hold on. So you think you ran out of breath? Okay. So if this is happening constantly, I would definitely suggest posting a bug report. Maybe take some screenshots, record the situation, let the dev team know about it so that way they can fix it. Give me a second. Let's get you out the water real quick. Let me just get your ID number here. Give me a moment. Hold on. I think it was Shook. So he is ID 137. Let me do this. Seriously? Just bear with me. Hold on. I'm gonna try to see if we can get somebody here for you. Six minutes. Yeah. Do you have a lot of valuable stuff on you? Okay. Shoot. One moment. Of course we're out here. Jay, you still there, bro? I'm on Discord talking to you.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah, if you can, I want you to go ahead and take the highway to the right and then continue north. I don't know if you're gonna make it though. I'm gonna try to. No, I might just actually. I'm gonna take you with me. Hold on. I'm gonna go ahead and just carry this guy to pillbox. He fainted. Do me a favor. Take a screenshot of your inventory really quick, okay? Just in case that we have to do a refund request. It won't let you look. Okay. All right. Well, keep me updated with the timer. We got 6 minutes. I'm gonna get you up there quick. Hold on, Jay.
Okay, so like where he's.
Of course, this is a train track. Oh gosh. Oh yeah, you're far out. Shoot. Yeah. I'm gonna be northeast. I'm gonna be by the freeway. Or dang it. This is bad. I'm not gonna be able to take him there. I'm not gonna be able to make it.
I'll see how fast I can. Oh no.
Oh, I see a road here. Okay, just hang in there. Just make sure you don't. Oh God! Oh.
Don't get pulled over.
That's okay. I'm gonna drive this guy. Wow, this car sucks.
You got a car?
Yeah, I got a car. It's crap though. There you go. Now we're making. I got to get this guy to pillbox quick. All right. So as soon as we get there, just go ahead and check in with the doctor. He's gonna take you to the room. I'll just do this so you don't lose your stuff. All right. Shoot, this is crazy. This is bad, bro. I don't think we have an admin to 2 minutes and 30 seconds. I might be able to make it. The car's going faster now, which is good. Okay, we're almost there. You said what?
This server is kind of glitchy right now.
Well, you know what though? The one sync. So whenever you pass 32 players, trust me, these glitches are known to happen.
Oh man, I'm seeing cars fly out of the ground.
Oh, yeah, the locals are going to be weird. Okay, we're very close. We're literally like less than a mile out. Hang in there. How much time do we have left?
His head sticking out of your car.
You're right. Oh man, poor guy. I feel bad. You know, I know what he's doing out of character. He's getting plants, and we know what the plants are for. But I gotta get him in the. I think I'm gonna make it. I'm right there. I don't know if he typed in chat. Oh, he can't hear me while I'm driving. Shoot. Or I'm here now at Pillbox.
Oh yeah, I hate those times where you like just randomly just die for no reason.
Oh yeah. All right, go ahead and get ready to check in. We made it here.
No, door can't open fast enough. Smack you in the face.
Okay.
Oh, thank you, man.
Oh, no problem. All good? You got everything still? Double check?
Yeah, thank you, man.
No problem. I know that we don't have any staff to take care of this. I try the best I can.
No, you're good, man. Thank you, G.
You're welcome. I'm gonna check in too. Why not? I saved him. See? How nice I am.
So where was he at? I gotta find that place.
Right. I never even knew that place existed.
I definitely gotta find that place that he was at.
Yeah, I mean, I know you're into that stuff, so if you find out how to do that stuff, let me know, because that helped me out. Well, let me see.
How do you get the stuff for the pawn shop?
I have no idea.
Fluffy's playing Borderlands 2. I need a gas station now. I'm out in the middle of nowhere, no gas.
Oh, so after I do hashtags, it takes away the chat. I didn't know that.
Open my trunk up.
Press Y. Go near your trunk, press Y. That'll open your trunk, and then
Okay. There's no vehicle. What? Yeah, there is too. Shut up. Saying I
Yeah.
have a vehicle here. Okay, yeah, I'm sure.
Uh.
There we go.
Well, actually, take me back to where I was. Where'd my car go? No!
Oh man, my car's about to explode. It disappeared as soon as you left.
Yeah, I saw. It did? Oh, shoot.
I guess I'm going to use that repair.
Eight minutes. Look at that. Time flies. Oh, dear jeez. Oh. Let's get that giveaway going, guys.
Okay. Okay, how do I do the repair kit? There we go. I was gonna say, better fix my car up. There we go. Good. I should have bought more than one repair kit.
Oh yeah, the repair kits go pretty quick, but you know what though? You buy them at the shops, they cost 3,000, and they only cost 1,500 with the mechanic. So pretty much get two for the price of one. And look at, I'm only getting 30 FPS right now. Yeah, now I know when I disappear, my car disappears too. Oh, this baby go fast. Uh-oh. There you go. Let me call Jay. I gotta get Jay's number. I don't know if I have his number or not. Let me check. I don't think I do. Was it Johnny Walker? It's Johnny Walker. I forgot how to call people, man. Change contact, no. 111. Oh, I gotta click phone, duh. Gosh.
Hello.
Yo, Johnny, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, what's going on? So wait, did somebody just say, hey, hi, I'm Johnny? What the heck?
Yeah. Just had to go get some gas.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was just wondering where you were at. Did you ever apply for that job yet for the LSPD? Or even for the paramedics, possibly?
Not yet. Where do I go to do that?
Well, you're going to want to head over to the nice, beautiful Discord app there on your phone. Once you get there, you're going to want to look for the job search site. Typically, it's going to be called whitelisted jobs. That's what they use. And then you're going to, once you get there, just hit that apply button. And then they should contact you back with further details.
Okay, I'll have to check that out.
Oh, yeah, definitely, bro. Hopefully you good luck with the job, man. You know what I'm saying? Be nice to have you on board.
Yeah, I'd like to get them.
Think you do just fine. Oh, I think I see your taco truck over here at the Mission Row at the PD.
I think I got enough tacos for a while.
Oh, that's good. That's good, man. That's good. Yeah, that's really good, you know? Why's my guy walking like that? Why is he doing that weird posture thingy? Oh, man. What a beautiful day in the city, man. It's been a long day, though. Like, probably a lot of things you didn't expect, did you?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. Well, and hopefully we see you more around in the city, man. You know? So it's nice to have you around, be here, and get to witness pretty cool things.
I just gotta figure out how to get back to the city here because I'm lost in this little suburbs out here.
Oh, that's not good. That's not good at all. Let's see here. Why am my caps lock on? Tony Hawkins. Tony Hawkins 97? You know what? I'm gonna see if there's anybody around. I'm gonna see if I can try to get you in. Just bear with me. But I'm gonna need you to put that application in so that way they can see it. So when you get the free time, make sure you do that right away and just let me know when you submit that.
Okay, I'll do that.
All right, sounds good. All right, can't get. Okay, so Snap-O-Matic. Okay, so.
Why is my phone so big?
All right, let's see what we got here. Oh yeah, most definitely.
Is there a way to adjust my phone?
What are you trying to do?
It's like taking up like most of my screen.
Yeah, there is. So if your phone's screen resolution is too high, you can go into your phone settings and then you can lower it from there. But I think I'll have to hang up the call on you. I don't think your phone's gonna let you navigate. Oh my gosh, 30 seconds. Look at that, guys. I gotta change my arms with this guy, with this character.
It's kind of.
Oh yeah.
Big old phone.
It sure is. You're right, it most definitely is. Let me get somewhere safe though. All right. Yeah, go ahead and... Yeah, no, that was me. Yeah, go ahead and play with your phone settings, see if you can figure it out. All right, guys. So we got 3 total people in here. However, man, I screwed up. All right, let me do this. I forgot to take Aradar out. Shoot. Okay, so here's what we need to do. I'm going to 160 and 50.
You're fired!
Do me a favor, check your guys' retro coins. Did you guys get your points back or no? You guys got your points back. Okay, great. Okay, Jay, if you could check yours too, just to be safe. Because then if that's the case, I can close this out real quick. Okay, so everybody got their coins back. Do me a favor. Type retro coins because I want to see if your retro coins are like in brackets, because that would mean that they're currently having raffles, but I don't think it will. But try that, see what happens. Yeah, you guys got your points back. So wait, so I can reset this then. Okay, so I'm gonna open this back. I'm gonna start it up again. Get your tickets in. All right, go ahead and get your tickets in. I just don't want Aradar to lose his raffle tickets because I don't think he was aware that he didn't want to. You had to be here present to win it. All right, so Jay's got 69. Okay, Jay, I see you, bro. It's a very lucky number. And then Thomas, get your tickets in as well, bro. And then we'll get you guys going. Looks good. Got the timer for 2 minutes and 30 seconds left. Any last minute participants want to join in, you can. And then we're going to draw the winner, guys. One of you guys are going to win a lovely little gift card from me. Okay, all right. How's that application looking? Have you done it yet? Right. Oh, well, your odds are pretty high for both of you guys, really. Ooh. 1 minute and 40 seconds. Yeah, it is. I got, you guys can see it at the top left up there. Jay's got 69 tickets. 69. And Thomas has 50. Half of 100. Very good. Man, we need, like... Yeah. The only bad thing about right now in the city is that they got plenty of EMS, but the problem is a lot of them are trainees, so they're still in training. So until they all get promoted or whatnot and finish the academy, they're going to be looking for more EMS. So just in case, I would submit an application for both the LSPD and EMS just to be safe, so we can get you at least in one of them. Because I think the LSPD might be on hold for now. 30 seconds, guys. Let's get those tickets. Get the tickets. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. 15 seconds. Here it goes. All right, guys, here we go. We're about to draw our winner.
Might have an issue.
Uh-oh, what happened?
I can't actually go back into the game.
Well, that's not good.
I was filling out the application, now I'm stuck. How about the LSFD? Is that hiring or do you know?
What happened?
The LSFD?
I would say that's EMS. Yeah, the EMS fire department, same job description, pretty much.
Okay, BCSO.
They're not hiring currently. That's gonna be Blaine County Sheriffs.
Okay. And LSPD is the only one that's maybe hiring, but so can he do 2 of them?
I don't see why not. I would just do an LSPD for now. If they respond that you can't get in or it's on hold or whatever, I would just try the EMS next.
Okay.
Take these off. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay, so the raffle is closed now, guys. So we're gonna go ahead and draw the winner here, guys. In 3, 2, 1. Bam! Oh. Oh. You should have did 69 tickets, Thomas. Oh my gosh. Wow, both of you guys put so many tickets in. That 58% chance. Wow. Congratulations, J13. So my question to you is, where do you want this gift card? Where would you like it? Right. Where would you like this? As long as I can get the digital key. If I have to get a physical one, I have to go to the store and get it either way. So I will try to get you the gift card at least by tomorrow or today, either way, depending on which one you want. Speaking of that, let me make sure I got the money put aside. Bum 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 bum. Okay, it's pretty close. So why did it take money from here?
When did we join the server?
What happened? When did you join the city?
Yeah, the server, yeah.
You've been here for more than 3 days. You're fine.
Yeah, I'm just trying to remember how long. I know it's been several months, but
yeah, I would just do 1 month just to be safe.
okay, yeah, I haven't played it for so long, so I don't remember how long. It's been a while, I know, but have you had any disciplinary actions? No, I haven't even been in trouble yet.
All right, J13 is cheating. Woohoo! Can you do virtual Visa cards? I don't know. It depends if it's like exactly 25, because they might charge me like I don't know. If you give me a link for it, I'll look into it. Let me see what they go for. Virtual Visa cards. Visa prepaid virtual rewards. Order cards. Okay, but how would that... Jay, we'll probably have to talk about this as soon as I get off the stream here, guys, but I do have to get going. All right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and get some shut-eye, call it the night. I'll be back on in a little bit, so stay tuned. And then until the meantime, guys, thank you so much for coming in, and good luck and congratulations on you guys for joining the raffle there, guys. Thank you so much. You guys have a great night, and until then, I'll catch you guys in the next broadcast. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.